For those of you who don't know, my name is Damien Azubike, also known as Chief of Gains, and I'm with Abeg Train Me. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a couple of tips for those of you who are looking to start training this fall. And as you guys can see, I got Opie, my leucistic ball python, around chilling with me. And this is me getting out of my comfort zone, which I hope this video will inspire some of you guys to do. And by out of the comfort zone, I don't mean go buy a snake and put it around your neck. That being said, let's get this video started. For those of you looking to go into the gym and don't know where to begin, the first thing I would do is establish a lifting schedule. A lifting schedule can be anywhere from 3 to 6 days a week, giving yourself at least 1 day for rest. This lifting schedule should be tailored around your schedule. So if you have a job, if you have school, if you have other obligations, you should make sure to take those into consideration when deciding if you want to work out 3 days a week to 6 days a week. You should also try and decide what type of training you want to do. Are you a full body type training person? Are you the type that likes split training? Do you want to do push pull? Do you want to do upper body, lower body? These also play a role in terms of determining how many days a week you want to train. For those who do full body, they tend to do like 3 to 4 days a week, resting every other day to allow the muscles to rest. For those who do split training, they tend to adopt more days each week, such as like 4, 5, 6 days, because they're working on individual muscle groups, and on the other days they'll work out a different muscle, of resting the first muscle, and so forth. From there, you also want to decide, do you want to work out in the morning or in the evening? It does make a difference. The morning has less people, therefore you can get to machines quicker. The downside is that depending on how early you are, you could be waking up, your body isn't stretched out, you might be hungry, yet you don't really have food in your system, stuff like that. Whereas evening, you might face stuff like rush hour traffic. You might also have to deal with a lack of equipment availability due to the numerous amount of people at the gym. But because of the additional people at the gym, you can ask people for a spot. You can also ask people for advice and so forth. Establishing a good gym schedule that works for you will make it so it's harder to miss days. It takes into consideration your life, and it just makes the gym less of an obligation and more of like a natural lifestyle item. The next thing I would do is I would pick yourself apart. That's the next tip I'll give you. Picking yourself apart is not easy to do. That's when you essentially look at a picture of yourself and you honestly kind of compare your pictures across a set amount of time to see if you've honestly gotten worse or better. Ways to determine if you've gotten worse is when you look at the picture, do you feel a sense of pride or do you still feel a sense of shame? And shame doesn't necessarily have to be to the point of like, oh, put myself in the basement, but it could be such as like, man, I kind of wish I tried a little harder. Man, I feel like I got a little bigger in this photo. Man, I don't like the way this clothing item fits on me, you know? So once you establish that, try and see the point in which you started to feel that way, whether it's you started to feel more pride or a loss of pride. Try and remember what went wrong. Did you start eating more? Did you start eating less? Did you start going to the gym? Did you lose a family member? What happened to make you fall off, essentially? From there, you can also start to ask individuals that you trust and that you respect, like, hey, what do you think my strong suits are, in particular, like my best body part? Would you say it's my biceps, my legs? Because that kind of helps give you a basis onto like, okay, well, these parts of me I think look fairly good. I want to work on these aspects of myself. Now, please understand that you cannot really spot train. You can't really, or spot reduce. So you can't really go like, oh, I want to lose nothing but belly fat, or I want to lose nothing but leg fat, or I'm going to make my butt, specifically just my butt, bigger. It does not work like that. Any individual who you see whose body transformed and it went from like small butt to huge butt, but everything else was the same, chances are they went under the needle or adopted some other external device to help them with that goal. The human body is not that simple. It believes in balance. It tries to account for everything, all to help with stability, balance, etc. And once you've picked yourself apart, it'll kind of help you develop your training routine that's right for you. You also then want to start doing research and start learning of the different training styles and training vocabularies, such as supersets, repetitions, progressive overloading, concentric, eccentric, all that jazz, because that so-called jargon will be helpful for reading training plans, understanding someone's trying to BS you with using big words, and seeing if you actually know what you're doing and just making the most out of simple workouts. Like a simple bicep curl could go so much further along if you understand like, okay, what are the different phases of the bicep curl? Where to actually squeeze? How long should I go on the concentric versus eccentric? So that's the next thing I'll do. Pick yourself apart, be honest, don't lie to yourself, and you'll be able to establish a training routine that works for you. Next, decide how you want to train. Are you a gym goer? Are you an outdoor trainer? Are you a homebody? Are you a bodyweight trainer? Now, ask yourself if you have been training in one way or the other, and if you've been doing, let's say you've been a gym goer for years and you don't see any results, there's a reason for it. So what's the reason? Is it your nutrition? Is it the intensity? Do you lie to yourself about how much you can pull? If you're a home workout person and you haven't seen results, maybe you should change it up. Maybe go outside, incorporate weights, go to the gym. At this stage is where you want to kind of really ask yourself, why isn't the thing I'm doing over and over working. And there is a reason, because consistency will breed progress when it comes to fitness. That's a fact. So once you establish that, now you have your gym schedule, you know their problem areas as well as your strong suits. You also know where and how you want to train. The next thing I would do is I would sit down, do a food log. Not like tracking, none of that. No, I'm saying just text yourself what you eat for like a week to 2 weeks, see how your diet is. After that, review it and try not to lie to yourself. It'll really be good information to let you know, like you went to freaking Arby's 10 times a week because you saw that We Have the Meats commercial or some shit like that. Or maybe you're just addicted to McDonald's or Wendy's 4 for 4, and that's what you're doing. You can't address a problem that you don't recognize. So track what you're eating, not in the sense of calories, but in the sense of just what are you throwing back. Once you understand that, you can be like, okay, you know, I can make a change, and always make the changes in small increments. Don't go crazy. If you went to Wendy's 5 times a week, okay, start going 4 times a week, then eventually 3, then 2, then 1. And if you really feel the need to cut it out, then cut it out. Now, we're not gonna go into nutrition like, oh, you should do this, do that, because this is just getting started. For those of you getting started, that's what I'm doing. The next thing I recommend doing is getting yourself a designated water bottle, preferably anything that's like 32 ounces or more, and set a goal for yourself. Like, you know what, I'm gonna finish this water bottle. If that becomes too easy, then say I'm gonna finish 2 of these water bottles. A designated water bottle helps remind you to stay hydrated. Organ function, it'll help you think clearer, it'll stave off hunger, as well as reduce bloat. And some of you guys are bloated as crap. The human body can store a lot of meals at a time before it fully lets it go. So some of you guys might just be bloated, and that bloat might be that sudden weight gain you're experiencing. Drink some water. It also will help prevent muscle cramp. There are a lot of benefits for water. If I have to explain it to you guys, that's gonna be a lot. Start drinking more water. Get yourself a designated water bottle. That's the quickest way to increase your water intake. And yeah, moving on, we're gonna talk about rest. For those of you with desk jobs, you probably get ample rest, and OP's on the move. For those of you who don't have desk jobs, you need to remember that you gotta give yourself time to rest. Not only will rest reduce your stress level, but rest will serve to aid with muscle recovery. It will also help to aid with fat burn. And there are a lot of other benefits too, like the energy levels and everything else. Now, when aiming for how much you should rest, I say try and get 7 hours of sleep. If you're a female, try to get more sleep. They've proven this. It's not easy at all, especially if you're working, you have obligations, but try to incorporate naps. And OP is, well, video was smooth for a minute. My bad, guys. I want to wrap this video up because OP is now like trying to snuggle, and I don't want to snuggle during this video. But that being said, get more sleep, guys. Sleep will help with muscle recovery. It will help with losing fat, building muscle, energy function, as well as organ function. Sleep is pivotal for your progress. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain muscle and you're not getting proper sleep, just know you are hindering your progress, and you might as well just say like, I don't want to make progress quickly. Again, get out of your comfort zone, do what's right for you. And yeah, this is Chief of Gains, Damien Azubuike, and this is OP, the Leucistic Ball Python, and we're with Abeg Train Me. For anything fitness, feel free to hit us up at abegtrainme.com or hit us up in the DM. You can hit Call Me Texas Toes, you can hit Chief of Gains, that's me, or you can hit Auto True up. It doesn't really matter. We'll be happy to work with you, help you out. If you want to support, the best way you can do that is by saving, sharing, commenting, liking. If it's YouTube, subscribing, or buying something off the site. Those are great ways to support, again, or even just watching the video. At the end of the day, all support helps. We thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Damien, and I'm out. Ooh. Thanks, Nala.